From natural disasters to tough economic times, financial experts say it's important to know how to invest. Senior financial planner Michael Lynch from Barnum Financial Group joins us now with some pointers. Michael, welcome back. For those of you've been on the show before, but for those who may not know you, what do you do at Barnum Financial?
Well, it's great to be back. At Barnum Financial, what me and my team do, what we do is basically help people make smart choices about their money, plan for their future so they can retire on their own terms. If they got kids, educate them, and then make sure that no matter what life happens, the natural disasters, the human disasters, their family's okay and nobody's poor. All
right, let's talk about Hurricane Irene and other natural disasters. Right, it had an effect.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we saw stocks go up.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting, and you know, the natural disasters, I think, really put the financial disasters in perspective, because if you're healthy and your family's okay, really nothing else matters. And just like what we've experienced recently in the market is a lot of volatility.
Leading up to Hurricane Irene, absolutely.
And then after it as well. And so what I think it has importance is you have to have a financial plan. Just like you need a disaster plan for your personal life, there'll probably be a lot of generators sold in the next few months,
yes,
right?
You're
a lot of bottled water be drank that was true, a lot more battery sales.
A lot of lumber.
You have to have a financial plan, I think. You have to have a plan for your financial life. And that's going to include short-term money for crises, liquidity, but then you have to have exposure, I think, to owning stocks, owning the great companies for your longer-term retirement plans.
Well, what's the big mistake people make when something like this happen?
The big mistake people make always is going on emotion, letting short-term events drive long-term decisions. Think of it like a journey. So if I'm driving to, I'm driving to another state and I got a whole vacation plan, and I get in it and there's bad weather, there's a traffic jam, am I going to turn around and cancel the vacation? No, I might arrive a little bit late. I might take a circuit.
Well, some people do, though. Some people do cancel.
But then they don't end up at the vacation. And
That's true.
And if that destination's your retirement, you're going to end up working until you go. So typically you need short-term money for short stuff, cash if they can't go up, can't go down, intermediate-term money, perhaps bonds and stuff for your educating your kids and stuff, and then your long-term money, you have to stay in the game.
So when like a disaster happens, you need to be in touch with your money manager?
Well, you know, we're always in touch with the people that are managing money, and it's really the natural disaster didn't end up being a financial disaster at all. And we saw, since it was actually less than was expected, the markets rebounded on the back end of it, which is interesting. One of the things that happens in times like these, volatility, it creates opportunity. And so the people who are managing your money are actually out there in the marketplace every day looking for the good price stock, the good price companies, so they can make their clients money.
Well, you and I talked earlier about Warren Buffett, someone who always invests when times are tough.
Yeah, Warren Buffett's a great example. Now, most of us do not keep piles of cash on the side to invest at opportunistic times, but he does. And if you look at when he invests and what he invests in, I think it's instructive. He invests at bad times, in August of '08, in the financials. He invested just recently in another financial company.
Exactly.
So when times look bleak, that's when he puts big money in. And he invests in the infrastructure of this great company. He bought a railroad. He's big in utilities right now. There's stuff that's going to grow and make this country great. And then, of course, supporting the financial sector. So he says when other people are fearful, that's when there's value. That's when you stay in the game.
But a lot of us don't have the money that he has. So what should we be doing?
We follow the plan. So most people's financial plan is to make income, have a cash reserve, and then systematically every paycheck fund your future goals, be they retirement or be they education. So just keep accumulating shares in the mutual funds and or stocks that you're purchasing as you move along, and don't let the short-term gyrations knock out your game.
So how do we start? Do we actually try to save the cash first and then invest, or how do we do it?
Every case is going to be different.
Okay.
But you don't want to have to sell long-term investments for short-term crises, right? So you don't want to have to sell a stock at a low price if you think it's going to go higher. So you need to get your base first. Your base is a cash reserve. Your base is insurance, life insurance. This is Life Insurance Awareness Month. If something happens to me, I've got to have my family protected, so I need to put money there before I build up stock. And disability insurance. If I can't work, we talked about this last time, I got issues. So typically you build your base, which is protection. Make sure your family is okay no matter what happens, and then you build for the long term. But a lot of times you're going to do it simultaneously, so you can build that base pretty quick.
And you also want to make sure your portfolio is diverse.
Yeah, you want to spread it out. I mean, the safety, and you never know. There's always something working well, and there's always something working poorly.
Absolutely.
When I get really nervous is when everything's going up together. That's when you know it's going to be a disaster. Yeah, it's too much optimism.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking when it goes down, I really get nervous.
Be calm before the storm. Everybody gets nervous. Everybody's too happy, something's going to happen.
And so, what do you say to your folks when that's happening?
You got a plan. Jocelyn, if you're my client, you call me up, the market's dropping, here's a conversation we're going to have.
Okay.
How much money you need a month, Jocelyn? You're going to tell me like $1,000.
Okay.
Okay, look at your cash reserve. How much do you have? So you need $12,000 a year, right?
Right.
You say yes.
Yes.
You have how much? You have $48,000 in there. Jocelyn, you have 4 years before you have to sell a stock. Relax. The key is a paradox. In life's a paradox. You have to have your day-to-day life insulated from the gyrations of the stock market. You can't have your happiness tied to what goes up and down for apparently no reason at all. Yet at the same time, you need your future days, 10, 15, 20, and 30 years, because of inflation. You have to have those days tied to the stock market. So how do we do it? We put systems in place that allow us to have that conversation. Regardless of what happens in the stock market, it's not going to affect where you eat dinner, how you educate your kids, whether or not you have a house, what kind of car you drive. It's not going to affect your day-to-day life. So relax, and if it's entertaining, pay attention to it, but if it doesn't entertain you, ignore it.
Yeah, but you got to have someone like you as well.
It helps to provide perspective. That's what the biggest thing we do for our clients is help them perspective, help them manage their behaviors, and really make them successful over the long run.
Great. Michael, and of course, if you'd like to set an appointment to go over your investments, all you have to do is call the number on your screen or visit Michael at www.michaellwlynch.com. Is that correct?
MichaelWLynch.com. We got
sorry,
too many L's.
Michael, too many L's. MichaelWLynch.com. As always, it's great to have you.
Great to be here. Thanks.
And coming up next on Connecticut Style, we'll head over to the kitchen and dive into a delicious lasagna soup recipe. We'll be right back.